My serve is just unconventional. It's not a traditional kind of flowing motion. It's kind of just short and abrupt, and it kind of ends before it starts. I was, I think, 16, and I used to have a pretty conventional motion, and I was getting beat one day in practice and getting pretty annoyed, upset, and I walked up to the line and kind of took this little half motion and just hit a serve as hard as I could, and it went in the box. And so the next point I did the same thing, and I've been doing it for, I guess, 11 or 12 years since then.
The swing is the most important part of the serve. Without a swift, powerful, and reliable swing of the racket, the ball can never be properly engaged, controlled, or directed. The mechanics, which can consistently deliver an adequate amount of energy for powering such swing, is bending backward and then snapping the torso forward, allowing the arm to be naturally driven by the body's thrust. This steel ruler demonstration is a good visual aid for understanding the working principles of this mechanics. Just as the snap of the ruler, the service action of the torso should be abrupt, concise, and very forceful. In order to propel the arm, this action cannot be slow, gradual, or protracted. It must be very explosive. The adequate racket speed will be generated only when the relaxed arm is driven in a whip-like manner, which will naturally produce a circular swing path of the racket. Once the swing action has been developed by the player, it always remains the same, without changes. Different serves, a flat, a kick, or a slice, are not the product of different swings, but the result of two variable factors. 1. The location of the contact with the ball along the circular swing path, and the other, the orientation of the striking surface at the moment of that contact. Let's examine how the location of the point of contact along the swing path will affect the direction of the ball. The point where the ruler is held in the vise will roughly correspond to the player's feet on the ground. If the ball is tossed in front of that point, when struck, it will be directed downward. If the ball is tossed right over it, it will be directed horizontally. And if behind, the ball will be directed upward. The ball's vertical direction will ultimately depend on where it is tossed into the swing path of the racket. if the striking surface is angled, which is usually the case. The result of such orientation will be a change in the ball's flight direction. And also a spin.
The biggest misconception people have about serving, generally speaking, is they think they have to serve it down. The truth is you don't hit down on it. That's what gravity does. Gravity will bring the ball down, I assure you. In order to create the kick, you actually have to hit up on the ball. Now, when you talk about a slice serve, most people think you have to hit from 1 o'clock down to 7 o'clock because you're slicing down. You're really not. You're really slicing up on the ball. So you'd be making contact at 4 o'clock, exiting that swing around 10 or 11 o'clock. Again, a slide is going to be the spin you're putting around the ball, but you still have to hit up on that slice serve.